That morning, I walked into my own living room and I stood there, frozen. Kink, the photos on the wall, our wedding photos, the ones from the happiest night of my life. They were gone. Every single one, and in their place, my husband's childhood pictures, his school uniform, his cricket team, his birthday party from 이천조백조십바, my face, erased from my own home, and the woman who did it, she was sitting in my kitchen, drinking my tea. Like nothing happened. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't fight. I just smiled. Because the next morning, I made one delivery to her house, and that delivery changed everything. Okay, let me take you back. My name is Sarah. I got married to my husband, Daniel, about 14 months ago. Daniel is honestly one of the good ones. Hardworking, loving, patient, but his mother, Linda, is a completely different story. From the very first week of our marriage, she made one thing crystal clear. She pulled me aside in the kitchen, just the two of us, and she said, and I quote, "Daniel was mine for 31 years before you showed up. Don't forget that." Dendo, I laughed it off. I thought, she's just nervous. She's just a protective mom. It'll get better. It didn't get better. She would come over unannounced 3-4 times a week. Okay. She would rearrange things in my kitchen without asking. Okay. She once told me my cooking were a little basic in front of Daniel's entire family. Heck, she would call Daniel every single night at Joe PM, our dot time, and keep him on the phone for an hour. And every single time I said something to Daniel, you know what he said? She doesn't mean it. That's just how she is. She loves you, Dodd. That's just how she is. And I heard that sentence so many times. I started to believe maybe I was the problem. It was a Tuesday. Daniel was at work. I had run out to the grocery store, maybe 45 minutes. Tops, Linda had a key. We gave it to her for emergencies. When I came back home, I walked through the front door, set my bags down, and I looked up at the wall. Yeah, our wedding portrait, the big framed one, the one I had picked out myself, the one from our first dance, it was on the floor. Propped against the baseboard like it was trash waiting to be taken out, our anniversary photo, gone. The picture from our honeymoon, gone, and in their place, hung perfectly centered, level, were 3 photos of Daniel. Daniel at 8 years old, Daniel at his high school graduation, Daniel at a football game, Linda standing next to him, grinning. My face did not exist in my own home. Linda walked out of the kitchen right then. She looked at the wall. She looked at me. She smiled. And she said, "And I will never forget this as long as I live." I freshened it up a little. Looks better, don't you think? Looks better. I stood there holding a bag of groceries, heart pounding, hands shaking. And you know what I said? Nothing. I walked to the kitchen. I put the groceries away. I made 2 cups of tea. I set one in front of her. And I went to my bedroom and closed the door because I had already decided I was not going to react. Not yet. I was going to respond that night. I told Daniel everything. He saw the wall. His face changed. "Han," he called her, and she said, "Brace yourself. It's just photos, Daniel. Tell your wife to relax." I was just trying to make the house feel more like home. Did more like home? Who's home? And I didn't sleep much that night, but I wasn't crying. I was thinking, because here's the thing about people like Linda. If you fight back loud, they play the victim. If you cry, they call you dramatic. If you involve your husband, they say you're trying to turn him against his family. You can't out-yell someone who has been perfecting that game for 30 years. So I decided I wasn't going to play her game, I was going to play mine. The next morning, I woke up early. Daniel was still asleep. I went to my laptop and I spent about 2 hours putting something together. And then I went to the print shop down the street when it opened and I placed an order, a large order. By noon, I had a delivery ready. I packed it up myself, drove to Linda's house, rang the doorbell. She opened the door, saw me, and her smile was already halfway to a smirk. I handed her the box and I said, "I made this for you. I thought you deserved your own wall, Dindy," and I left. "Okay, you want to know what was in that box? I'll tell you. But first, let me explain why I did what I did, because it wasn't about revenge. Not exactly. It was about sending a message quietly, clearly, permanently that I exist, that this marriage is real, that I am not a guest in my own life. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is refuse to disappear. In that box, there were 12 framed photos. Every single one of them was a photo of me and Daniel, our engagement, our wedding, our first home, our first Christmas, our first anniversary, print big, framed beautifully, with a handwritten note on top that said, Since you love decorating so much, I thought your home could use some updates too. After all, Daniel is my husband. I think I deserve a wall." That was it. No anger, no insults. Just 12 framed photos and one polite little note. I drove home, sat in my car for a second. Then I walked inside, took our wedding portrait off the floor, rehung it on the wall, exactly where it belonged, and made myself a coffee. And 20 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Linda. She was not happy. She called it disrespectful. She said I was being petty. She said she was going to call Daniel. I said, "You please do. Tell him exactly what happened. Start from the beginning." Then she hung up. Daniel called me 10 minutes later. I expected him to be frustrated with me. Instead, he said 4 words I will never forget. "I'm proud of you." Here's what happened after that. Linda didn't speak to me for 3 weeks. Honestly, those were 3 of the most peaceful weeks of my marriage. But something else happened too, something I didn't expect. Here, Daniel started seeing things differently, not because I told him to, not because we had a big fight, but because when he saw what I did, calm, creative, clear, he finally understood something. That I had been holding things together quietly for a long time, that I had been absorbing pain and calling it patience, and that I loved him enough to fight for our marriage without destroying his relationship with his mother. That mattered to him a lot. Eventually, Linda and I did talk, a real conversation. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a movie moment, but she never touched my walls again, and that, honestly, was enough for me. Again, if you're watching this and you're in a situation where someone is slowly, quietly making you feel like you don't belong in your own home, in your own marriage, in your own life, I want you to hear this, because you don't have to explode. You don't have to beg. You don't have to shrink. Sometimes the most powerful response is a calm one. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is simply refuse to be erased. That's my story. Every word of it true. If this hit different for you, you know what to do. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you've ever had a mother-in-law moment, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Take care of yourselves. And remember, your story deserves to be on the wall. See you in the next one.